This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me.
All right, we're going to have the causes come up now. So if I can have them start to make their way up, we're going to learn a little bit about each of the 5 organizations that are our beneficiaries this evening. So we're going to do them in alphabetical order. Am I seeing movement? All right, in the meantime, let me remind you to post and tweet, and I will just kill time by asking how many people were at the Women's March either today or in any of the last 4 years. All right, woohoo! So the lovely Ann Schneider gave me a button that she got downtown today. Love trumps hate. Kind of says it all, right? And we saw those 4 years ago. Let's hope we never have to see these again. Okay, so leading off. Okay, you guys can get closer. You can be in the spotlight. So Americans United for Separation of Church and State. These guys are each going to take just a couple of quick minutes, talk about what they do, why you should vote for them, why you should support them, and leading off, Americans United for Separation of Church and State. Sarah Gillooly, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Senator Kagan for having us, and I want to give a special shout out to Barry Lynn, who's in the crowd tonight, who's our longtime former executive director of Americans United for Separation of Church and State. So my name is Sarah Gillooly, and I'm the Vice President for Outreach at Americans United for Separation of Church and State. We were founded by Christian clergy almost 75 years ago, and we work today in the courts, in Congress, in state legislatures, and in communities across the country to protect our country's cherished value of religious freedom. Now, I know I just said religious freedom, and if you've been paying attention to the presidential rhetoric this week, you're saying to yourself, is she at the wrong concert? But I'm actually here today to reclaim the true meaning of religious freedom. The religious freedom enshrined in our Constitution is meant to protect the right of all of us to worship as we choose or to not worship at all. In America, we should be treated equally no matter who we are, who we love, or what we believe. But that cherished principle is under attack, and an amazing example of that and the attacks we're facing under the Trump administration is AU's client, Amy Madonna. Amy Madonna lives in South Carolina. She's the mother of 3 children. 2 of her children are disabled, and her father grew up in foster care. And she grew up, her father became a foster parent after his experience, and she had dozens of foster siblings throughout her childhood. As her children have gotten older, she decided that she wanted to serve her community as a foster parent. So she went to her local foster care agency funded by taxpayer dollars, and they said, "You're perfect. You're exactly the kind of mother we're looking for in our program." And as she went to fill out the paperwork, it asked for the name of her pastor. And she replied, "I don't have a pastor, I have a priest. My family is Catholic." And they said, "Actually, you're not welcome here. We don't take your kind." And that same foster care agency rejected a Jewish family that year and rejected a Unitarian lesbian couple. AU sued under some federal non-discrimination rules, but the Trump administration retaliated and within weeks issued a waiver so that the state of South Carolina foster care agencies funded by taxpayer dollars wouldn't have to comply with those non-discrimination rules. And last year, they stripped away those rules from every foster care agency in the country. And then just this week, 8 proposed regulations were issued by the Trump administration to roll back the regulation of taxpayer-funded faith-based service providers, foster care agencies, elder services, mental health, substance abuse, undermining critical civil rights protections in our country. But AU is not backing down. Whether we're protecting the religious freedom of foster parents like Amy Madonna, or making sure the students, the young women at Notre Dame can access contraception, or fighting for public schools in which every child can pray if they choose, but no child is coerced to practicing someone else's religion, AU is showing up. Our members are devout people of faith and fervent atheists, and they're united in 2 core beliefs: that the government should be for all people, and that religious freedom is not a license to discriminate. So I thank you for your support. You can learn more about us at au.org. I'm grateful for all you do in your communities to protect religious freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Next up, one of the very coolest sounding acronyms, which is CRICMIC. And the first time I heard about it, it was by a staffer of mine when I was running a foundation, giving away money to local nonprofits, and she said, we have to support CRICMIC, the Conflict Resolution Center for Montgomery County. Christopher Page.
All right. So, I'm Christopher Page, Executive Director of the Conflict Resolution Center in Montgomery County. We offer services throughout the county for free if you live, walk, volunteer, or step foot in Montgomery County. We offer services for free for you. We offer what we call cradle to the grave services. What do you mean? How's it conflict resolution cradle to the grave? Well, we start with the cradle because we do parenting plans. So right before you're having a child and you want to figure out how you want to raise your kid, we will help you to work together to develop a rule, work together to develop a plan how you want to raise your child. The next one, where since everybody's been talking about things, one of the key programs, one of our number one program is in the school program. And in schools, we teach people, because many of our conflicts with our middle and senior high school students start on social media. So what we do, and one of our main things now, is to teach kids how to be nice to each other on social media. And what we try and hope that if we train them in Montgomery County, it might extend to people typing in, maybe in Washington, D.C., sending out tweets so that they can help each other and help people, so that many of our conflicts, so people can understand what people are saying, not insult, but even if you have a difference of opinion, you can express it to another person so that they can see what you value, and then maybe you can see what they value and realize maybe you both value the same thing. And so that's what we try to do, deal with bullying, deal with people getting out of prison, helping them find a way so they can mediate with their family so we can reduce the recidivism rate. And most importantly, we say what we try to do is strengthen our communities piece by piece. P-E-A-C-E by P-E-A-C-E. Peace.
Thank you, Christopher. And there are a lot of opportunities to volunteer with CRICMIC. If you are interested in helping community mediation, they do trainings and all that. So next up, another national organization, the Death with Dignity National Center. Peg.
Thank you, everybody. I am just having a great time tonight, and I'm so pleased to be here. I'm loving the music and the community and everything about tonight. So I want to just speak for a very little bit about the Death with Dignity National Center. I'm the executive director. I've been the executive director for 14 years. I'm a social worker, and I travel across the nation helping states adopt death with dignity laws, somewhat like the one we have in Oregon, which is our model legislation. And I think that our mission is really simple and direct, because what we do is help other states adopt laws, so that's very clear to say. But when we think about dying, everything about how we die has changed in the last 40 years in this country, and that's why this legislation is important, because we're not going to die like our parents did. It's going to be very different than how our grandparents died, because we live in a medicalized world, and medicine hasn't brought an answer to how we die. And so what Death with Dignity does is allows you to request to your physician, if you are a mentally competent adult resident of the state, request a prescription to hasten your death under a whole bunch of safeguards. And I have to say that I've been working here in Maryland with a coalition of Marylanders to try and get Death with Dignity passed for 4 years. And I just want to say that the most difficult legislative hearing I have ever gone through has been in your state, in front of your Judiciary Committee. And, they really attacked us for what's going on in Oregon, because clearly we're killing our grandmothers in Oregon, and we want to bring that all to you. So I will be back this year. I will be back with a coalition of folks, and we're going to get Death with Dignity passed, and we are so excited. You can talk to Amy up there or see me at deathwithdignity.org, but thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Action item on this one, seriously, the Senate voted 23 to 23 last year, and one senator was in his seat and didn't vote, and the bill died. So we're bringing it back, but legislators need to hear from you. What I always say is, I'm going to die. We are all going to die, and some people are in denial about that. But it's a question of when and how and whether we're ready for it and whether we're in pain. And having options about our own bodies and our own destinies seems reasonable and important. So I hope if you share this view, please contact your legislators, because right now is the time. So thank you for that. Mikhail, Kathy Stevens, the Montgomery Coalition for Adult English Literacy. Thank you, Kathy.
Thanks, Cheryl. Hi, everybody. It's so great to be here tonight and to be part of this, because there's so many really interesting, worthy social justice organizations that we're talking about. Did you know in Montgomery County there are a little over 1 million people? And did you know that just over 120,000 of our adult community members say that they wish they spoke English better? They wish they spoke it, could read it, and write it better. And that's what Mikhail is about. We are a hub of a coalition that strengthens the countywide network of English literacy providers. Learning a language as an adult, we can probably all say, is a really hard thing to do. Takes on average 7 years for an adult to become proficient. Our newer neighbors, our immigrant neighbors who are trying to learn English and support their families and work more than one job and take care of relatives perhaps back in their home country, time is limited. So the coordinated system that we are behind, we are the hub of the coalition, providing funding, trainings, technical assistance, anything that we can to strengthen our teaching, to strengthen our programs, so that everyone and every adult who wants to learn English can do that, so that they can be the best parents, the best workers, the best community members, and the best for themselves, have their own agency to communicate. So English is a basic right, and we are a strong coalition here in Montgomery County providing a lot of English classes to our neighbors in need. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Kathy. And last but definitely not least, Viz Arts has a program called Visibility, and it's for allowing adult participants with disabilities to engage in creating beautiful art. You should watch for their displays and open houses, because the art, and some of the artists are here tonight, the art is really magnificent. So Alice Nappy, the director of Viz Arts. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Alice Nappy. I'm the executive director of Viz Arts, and we are a nonprofit organization located in Rockville whose mission is to transform individuals and communities through the visual arts. Since our founding, we have had more than 600,000 individuals who have participated in our arts education programs, viewed our 4 galleries, and met and learned from studio artists in our program. It is our belief that the arts are essential to all of us. Artists are the heart and soul of Viz Arts, and in fact, the vessels, the big vases that you see on all the tables tonight were created by Viz Arts artists. Each year, in an effort to serve populations that are underserved, we extend more than $40,000 in free services and discounts to those in need. And one of our most important community initiatives is our Visibility Art Lab. And this is a program we launched in 2015 to help young adult artists who have transitioned out of other services, adult artists with intellectual disabilities, to give them a place to develop art, foster independence, and become a creative part of our community. All of us at Viz Arts have had our eyes open to the personal and external challenges faced by young adults. We were just talking about statistics in Montgomery County. Nearly 80,000 individuals in Montgomery County were identified as disabled. Of those individuals, 92% were over the age of 18, and approximately 1/3 had a cognitive disability. Today, nearly 85% of adults with intellectual or developmental disabilities are not employed in full-time jobs. Of those young adults who receive specialized services, the vast majority remain in sheltered employment, non-work services, or day programs. Due to the lack of housing options for young adults with disabilities, 75% of those individuals live at home and are less likely to experience social engagement and job opportunities in the community. The Visibility Art Lab addresses many of these challenges with an art-centric focus. It provides participants with a studio where they can create art and engage with our staff, our instructors, studio artists, and members of the public. These connections help them improve social functioning and reduce isolation. Over the past 4 years, the program has had tremendous impact. It's grown from 2 artists to 27, and we've provided them numerous opportunities to exhibit their work. And in fact, over the past 5 years, they've been in 40 shows across the area and have sold more than $10,000 worth of their work. So I hope you will come and see our art and meet our artists and come to Viz Arts. Thank you for your support.
So let's have a hand for all 5 of these organizations and all the great work that they do. Thank you. Thank you all for your attention. Tweet at them, give money to them, volunteer for them, and make sure you cast your votes. So thank you all.
Thank you.
So now we're back to music.
This land is your land. This land is my land.